What's going on, family? You are tapped into another episode of the Winning Shot podcast where we give our authentic take on sports. Shout out to Hundo. Listen, fellas, we are here on this. It's the 20th of January, 19th, excuse me. MLK Day. So, fellas, first of all, how y'all doing? And secondly, we're gonna get right into this conversation because I got some things to say to y'all. I told y'all I was coming back after this division round weekend. I can't wait to get straight into it. So, how y'all fellas doing before we get into it? Before I start picking y'all brains apart with y'all boy, let's go.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm definitely an exciting week of sports. Enjoy the games this weekend, so definitely ready to dive into it and trying to get ready for the work week. I had to go in today and then back to normal tomorrow.
Hear that?
Boy, working on MLK Day is nasty work. You got it. But I'm doing good, brother. Can't complain. I got a short week this week.
Yeah, my week is also longer, Colin. I'll be working. I got to work tomorrow through Saturday. So I'll be working.
They said they're going to get that time back.
Nah, they're going to definitely get it back. But we're going to see, though, because the weather's supposed to change here to snow. So we're going to see, down the south, they don't take snow too well. So,
everybody off.
Hey, everybody off. So we're going to see what happens. If the Lord does see fit, to drop a couple inches, even 8-inch, because that's enough to shut the whole city down. But anyways, we'll get to that when the day does come. What I want to talk about, though, speaking on cold and snow, there's a place that y'all fellas like to frequent as fake fans of the team, but real fans of the player. And there's a quarterback that's at this particular place. Huh?
I can't just think a player is good. Like,
you can be you're a fan.
But he said fake fan. Like,
fake fan of the team, real fan of the player. That's what I said. Y'all not Bills fans, but y'all are Josh Allen's fans.
Weird.
Anyways, y'all done broke up my interest. Here we go. The Buffalo Bills lost to the Denver Broncos this past weekend. And I know Hundo is going to take the stance of it's a win-win for him because he's a Denver Broncos fan. But like I said, he's also a Josh Allen fan. So we're going to start there. We're going to start with the Josh Allen first. Then we'll come back to your Broncos in a minute and what they did. Let's talk about it because y'all, Hundo has notoriously told me, when the Bills lose, it's not Josh Allen's fault. He's told me that numerous times over the years, and for the majority of the time, it's been true. But this past weekend, y'all boy 1-7 had 4 turnovers. 4 of them. And it cost him the game. And now he's on the couch. And so we got to talk about why can't Josh Allen get the job done? Let's have the conversation because y'all love to have the conversation when it comes to anybody else. And this is the year. Lamar wasn't in the playoffs. Joe Burrow wasn't in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the playoffs. He lost to a playoffs that was filled with Drake May, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud. And still, he didn't even make the conference championship. He didn't even make it there. So let's talk about your boy 1-7 and why he can't get the job, the reigning league MVP.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the job done come January. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. 1-7, 4 turnovers in that L.
Hey,
hold on, let me finish this. I had to keep going.
Stop, bro. Hey, get your point, bro.
Yeah, go ahead. Y'all go ahead. Yeah.
Like I told y'all in the group, man, that first fumble before the half was ill-advised. Like, it was no need for him to try to make nothing happen, do anything special. Like, take care of the ball, go into the half down 7. Cool. That was dumb. You give the Broncos 2 seconds to kick a field goal. They go up 10 at the half. Comes back out the very next play in the third quarter. Second play to drive. Nick Benito comes off the edge, hits him from behind. He fumbles. Ain't too much you could do about that. They had Khalil Shakir out there trying to block Nick Benito. You too small, boy. Get out the way. What? At least put Dawson Knox or Kincaid out there to help block. You gonna spend a small wide receiver out there to try to block? That ain't gonna work. And then the interception, trying to force the ball down the field. That was just the first one. PJ Locke just jumped it. The second one, controversial, but they ruled it an interception. So I'll take it. Cool in my book. Like I said, he tried to force the ball down the field, both of those, and just wasn't there. And then he missed the throw to the Dawson Knox going across the field, wide open for a touchdown. You got to make that throw. It was reminiscent of him missing that throw against the Eagles on the 2-point conversion. But when you have opportunities to strike like he did, you got to take advantage of it. And he didn't. That's how he lost.
It's a sad day, man. Like, I can't even defend Josh Allen, especially after that first half. I texted your boys in the group chat and I said that was the worst first half I've ever seen. Like, there was just some like Hundo said, there was some ill-advised hero moments that he didn't need. Like, just go into the half. It looked like he was trying to pitch the ball back or something, and that really changed the momentum of the game, because not only did the Broncos score, but they went in with another score. And so now that really shifted the tide, going into the second half. I feel like in the second half, he actually played better. Like, he played decent, and he definitely put the boys back in, he put the boys back in a position to go to overtime. So in the same way that I say that he was bad, I can say that he definitely looked in MVP form in that second half. The only problem is, like, when you look at their roster, and I've been saying this since the beginning of the year, I don't think Brandon Beane has done a good enough job to surround him with elite talent in order to make a run in the playoffs. Now, it doesn't take away from, his performance, but when you're throwing to Brandon Cooks, and even James Cook had a fumble earlier in the first half, like, I don't want to put the game in Brandon Cook's hands, when it's, in the fourth quarter and overtime, because I don't think at this point in his career, Brandon Cooks is meant for that. He's more of a slot receiver and a gadget guy. It seems like they flopped on Keon Coleman. I thought that he was going to be, the wide receiver one, but they still need a wide receiver. And then also to that defense, when they brought in Joey Bosa, they expected him to have some kind of perennial role, but they weren't getting to the quarterback. And even with that secondary, Trey White got beat at the end, so I can't even say that was a pass interference. And I don't know if Maxwell Harrison was playing on the other side, but their secondary, they were just getting dotted up by Bo. And so I think it just comes down to the roster construction. But because Josh is an MVP type player, it falls on him. He's got to be better. And this is why he gets paid big money, because he's expected to carry the team into the places they want to go. And he just failed to do that. So I'm curious to know what it looks like going forward, especially as we get into the Sean McDermott news. But when you look at the totality of the game, he just wasn't good enough.
Yeah. And so, man, as a result of that, today it was announced that Sean McDermott was fired as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills because Josh Allen couldn't get the job done. So, what's next in Buffalo? How do you restructure that team? To your point, Collin, and how do what's next for Josh Allen? With the new head coach coming in, who's more likely going to bring in new OC/DC like majority of these teams are doing. What options are available, right? Because we know there were some openings prior to this firing. And so how desirable now does this job become in relation to Baltimore, who is currently the hottest, job available? And then lastly, does Sean go somewhere immediately, or does he, take some time? So what's your thoughts?
I think for Buffalo, first off, I would probably go internal and just take Joe Brady and make him the head coach. He already got a good relationship with Josh Allen, and he's just probably going to be one of the top coordinators out here that's also getting interviewed for other jobs. So if somebody else has a chance of hiring him, why not just promote him to be the head coach? Is it that simple? Probably not, but we'll see. But that would probably be my first option as a replacement for Sean McDermott, and trying to keep that chemistry and consistency there with Josh Allen. And like Collin said, you got to continue to build out this roster. Go get another receiver. Go get some better, younger pass rushers, and secondary players. So we'll see what happens. I definitely think McDermott is going to be one of the hottest names out, and I think this is one of the top jobs up there with Baltimore, for coaches to try to come and apply for, I guess.
Yeah. I'm curious to know, like, with Brandon Bean going into the president of football operations, like, who is he going to be, a president GM type figure, or do they need to hire a GM, because that's really going to set the course for everything they do head coaching wise. But I think that they need to hire the right head coach and OC. If they're going Joe Brady, then they need to hit on a defensive coordinator and whoever Joe Brady's OC is. I don't mind that, but I think that they're, like, some of the issues that I see with Buffalo is that they are too internal. Like, sometimes you need some fresh eyes, especially when you have an elite quarterback like Josh Allen right now. And I would honestly say it's like a 2-year window they have with Josh Allen. And I think they need to retool this roster, make it a little bit younger, especially on defense, kind of following the same model that Kansas City followed once they traded Tyreek Hill. But you don't have that Tyreek Hill type of player to trade. But they spent all their picks and went really young on defense, getting Karlaftis, getting Nick Bolton, and that kind of set the course for them to go on another Super Bowl run. But the problem is like, once you start spending money on offense, their defense is still older and they're injury prone. They try to plug some holes. You still got Ed Oliver, and you drafted Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky, but Trey White's another year older, and you're going to have some questions in the linebacker and in the safety in the secondary. So I think that overall, I don't even know if this is going to be Super Bowl or bust next year, because there's more holes that need to be plugged in that I think is going to take 1 or 2 years, because you don't have an asset that you can readily trade like Tyreek Hill.
I think from my bad. Go ahead, John.
I was going to say, I think you can make the argument, though, Colin, that you had your Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs, and you already traded that away. So you had the opportunity then to try to retool and get younger and do the things. And then secondly, I feel like every year that you have Josh Allen, a Super Bowl or bust. I mean, I feel like you can't go into any year with Josh Allen, pay him as much money as you pay him, and not saying this is a Super Bowl or bust year. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's not a rookie contract. If anything, he's up for an extension soon. So it's like, because that cap number is only going to get bigger. So it's like, yeah, we got to get it done. So I think just like Baltimore, they're in win now mode. I mean, they have to be.
And I think, like, going off of that point too, and while I mentioned, Joe Brady as being a potential head coach, whoever they bring in as the head coach, if it's not Joe Brady, they're probably bringing in their own offensive coordinator too. Yeah. So, and you got Josh Allen already, like you just said, it's championship or bust. It's win now. Like, we don't have time to be learning a new offense, a new system, having those excuses of, oh, we got a new offensive coordinator now. Like, no, keep that same offensive coordinator, bring in a different defensive coordinator if need be, and go from there.
Yeah, but I think to your point, John, though, like I was making a joke the last time we were on the pod, but like, seriously, I think if you go 1 to 15 in terms of top players on the Ravens and Bills rosters, over half of those I would put as Ravens. Like, I think their roster is just not good enough. Like, and now the Patriots are only going to get better, and you have to hope that the Miami doesn't hit on their hire, because you come back with that roster next season, like, you'll be kind of in the same predicament of that 7 seed, because I don't think that they're going to be winning their division next year, because I think the Patriots are going to bolster their roster and get better. So I just don't know what the immediate fix is. You don't have an asset that you can just readily get available that you can just trade for pieces. And the free agent pool is not as deep this year, so they can't just go acquire players and just plug and play. Like, you're going to have to make some decisions in the draft, and you can't automatically rely on draft picks to come in day one and be all pro.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that for sure. So it's like, yes, I think the window is like we've been talking about this window for the past couple of episodes, but that window in Buffalo definitely is slim. But to I feel like the same way that people have been scrutinizing Baltimore for not spending money and getting people the job, I mean, like, they've had the same amount of opportunity, same amount of years. I think maybe Josh has been a year less or two than Lamar in the league. If not, yeah, Yeah, maybe a year. I say a year. And so it's like you've had the opportunity. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And he's had the pieces, and they've had this, and they've had that, and so it's like, now what are you gonna do, right? Like
Yeah.
who does this fall on? You know what I'm saying? Outside of Josh, right? Yeah, he can take as much blame on the field, but off the field, like you said, if you know your defense is old, you know that Josh could use another weapon or two. You know that all these things, but you've known this. We've been saying these same things just like
Yeah.
Lamar for years. This is not like the first time we've been
Mhm.
saying this. People
Right.
been trying to give Josh the excuse of, oh, he hasn't had weapons. Talk to your GM. Like, spend some money. Like, do something. Like, I don't, like you said, the Bills have notoriously just not have spent money in the offseason outside of going to get a Joey Bosa. Like, bringing back, Trey White. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they drafted Maxwell Harrison, but like they've been bringing back old players or trying to like sign them, and it's like clearly it hasn't been working. You
Yeah.
you can't get over the hump. You know what I'm saying? It's like now, if we to use some terminology I've heard this year, it's regression. Last year you're in the championship. This year you don't even make it past the divisional. So it's like, and like I mentioned, with Josh Allen's rising cap number, that money becomes tighter, which means the window becomes shorter unless you get some extension. So it's a lot of finagling that's going to have to happen here in these coming months, and so it's going to be truly interesting. Like you said, it's going to start with what they do at head coach. And Hundo, I didn't even think about the fact of bringing up Brady to be the AC, but I think it's a perfect thing for them to do because it alleviates you having to go through a whole process of search. You already got the person you need, right? You can just have him bring in who he wants to be the OC, or he bring in whoever and he just continue to run offense. It's like he knows it. Josh Allen is comfortable with it. At that point, now it just becomes on you to say, okay, I got to fix his defense, right?
Yeah.
So
And
Do you
also,
trade?
like we said, like bringing in those pieces, like you got to hit, I guess, in free agency at this point, like spend some money, go
Yeah.
get another receiver,
Mhm.
go get another corner, whatever it is that you think you need. But you got to be willing to make that change from a financial standpoint. I think before you go make a drastic coaching change and bringing in somebody completely new.
Do you
Mhm.
trade for AJ Brown?
do they have the capital for trade for AJ Brown? I mean, he's not gonna be cheap. So I mean, let's say theoretically, yes, you can try to trade for him. One, can you afford him? Two, do you want to give up 2 first-round picks to do so? You know what I'm saying? Like how in a win now mode sense, maybe,
Yeah,
but
I think you have to try it. You got to try something. If that's the only option, you got to try something because whoever you plan on drafting with those first round picks, they're not about to have a high enough first round pick to go get 1, 2, or 3 at receiver more than likely.
yeah, but we just talk about defensive help. So like, yeah, your offense continues to stay where it's at. Your defense don't get no better. Then what? Because
Yeah,
now,
now you're the Bengals.
yeah, now you're the Bengals, and so it's like you in this continuous cycle of okay, I still can't get the job done. So it's like I
Yeah,
think you got to sit down and really say, okay, what do we value here? You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like, are we really trying to work on this defense? Because we're going to probably spend some first round picks on some defensive guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, they did last year with Maxwell, but you need more, right? And so do I take 2 first rounders and say, all right, Philly, here you go, you can have these, which only gonna make Philly better. You know what I'm saying? And now you're saying, okay, Josh Allen has to win it by itself, essentially,
I
right?
think
Not
it
by
also
itself, but
depends on the market too, though. Because like, what if it's not 2 first? What if it's like a third and a fourth or something like that? Like
yeah,
now you got me thinking because I can give you a third or a fourth for
yeah,
AJ Brown easy.
for sure, easy. That's an easy
No
trade though.
hesitation, right? So I mean, we seen George Pickens get moved for what, a third and a fifth or a fourth and a fifth, something like that. Now, granted, AJ Brown is a little bit better than George Pickens, but if that's the asking price, if it's not nothing crazy, I'm definitely making that call.
Yeah, and it definitely can. It's going to depend on the money. I think that also obviously plays a part into the what you're trading in that draft. I mean, trading for an AJ Brown type player,
Mhm.
right? Because I mean, it's like, okay, how much of this contract do you want to take on? That's going to determine how much of the pick is it. Because I'm not giving you 2 first and paying his contract. That's
Right.
not going to work for us. So it's like, okay, y'all going to have to keep some of this contract, Philly. So it's a whole logistical thing. But like you said, this is the time that you sit down with your brass, and once you pick your head coach, and say what direction we're trying to go in. We have MVP type player as quarterback, with that solidified. So now, how can we get everything else better around him, including the defense? So, yeah, man, I think Buffalo has a window. You still got Josh Allen. That hasn't changed. But same thing is like it is in Baltimore. Something has to give, and I think that first thing was getting rid of Sean McDermott. So,
do you think their play style, if anything, needs to change? Because I mean, if you think about it, I feel like they're one of the most physical teams probably in the NFL. From a size standpoint, you got James Cook in the backfield. I feel like if they utilized him a little bit more, specifically against the Broncos, right? If they were able to run the ball a little bit better, they probably could have won that game. And we saw James Cook after that fumble actually put together a pretty good game. So, I mean, maybe it's a philosophy thing, a play style thing, if you don't want to make that investment at wide receiver.
Yeah.
We seen it with the Eagles. They leaned on Saquon last year. Not to say Saquon and James Cook are the same players, but when you got a top 5 type running back, you got to lean on that.
Yeah, but you also got a top 5 type quarterback. So it's like somebody got to be that guy. That's what it comes down to. Be the guy. We're paying Josh upwards of $50-60 million a year. Be the guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I have James Cook for sure. I'm not saying that he can't be used. Clearly, you need to use both of them. I mean, I think you have to. Obviously, you're paying James Cook a lot of money as well. So it comes down to somebody's got to be the guy and get the job done.
So, question though. So I saw that Joe Brady interview with the Ravens. Let's say Joe Brady gets offered the job with Baltimore. Where do you go? Like, if y'all Joe Brady, do you stay in Buffalo or do you go to Baltimore?
I think it depends on what he values more. In regards to, like, he knows what he has in Buffalo, right? He's there already from an offensive and a defensive standpoint. Do you look at Baltimore and say, okay, I now have another top 5 quarterback, plus Derrick Henry, plus whatever else I can do, plus the defense is better in Baltimore. So it's like, okay, what do I value? Where can I get the maximization of my talents, essentially? I mean, like I said, for me personally, if I'm him, because he already has everything he wants there, I'd stay in Buffalo, just because of the simple fact, once again, you have what you need there, and you can say, I know what I have, and I know what I want to change immediately. You come into Baltimore, you have Lamar, yes, but now you have to say, what changes I want to make. You can immediately. I feel like you can more. I think just immediacy make those changes faster in Buffalo than you probably could in Baltimore. That's all I'm thinking about from his perspective. Because now, like I said, you come in as head coach, I got to find an OC and a DC, and do all. I think it's just gonna be a little bit easier for him to stay in Buffalo. I'm not saying he couldn't, thrive in Baltimore, but
you got players that fit your system already.
Correct. You know what I'm saying? I got to teach a whole new system in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do that in Buffalo. I can just say, hey guys, y'all know what it is. Day one install, we locked back in already, add in new players. Like,
yeah.
So it's just something to think about in that regard. That's all.
Be interesting.
Yeah, definitely gonna be interesting. Hundo, man, what we got next to talk about? I know we're talking about these wild card games. We're gonna continue on here, and we'll give you some time to talk about your Denver Broncos and that win.
but he said it's so defeated. Like, you can go ahead and just talk about them.
No.
Going to the AFC Championship, man. I need some enthusiasm.
You're right, Hundo. You're right. The Denver Broncos beat the Buffalo Bills at home, but they lost their starting quarterback in the process.
Yeah,
so you can talk about your win, but I need you to also talk about what this loss of Bo Nix means for y'all come the championship game against the Patriots this upcoming week.
Yeah. Shout out to Bo Nix, man. He showed up. I know. I've been getting.
That Collin got hate in his eyes.
Wake up.
Go ahead, man.
Football is still live.
Go ahead.
Football is still going on. The Broncos are not home yet. We playing at home, but we ain't home. But nah, man. Shout out to Bo Nix, man. I know I've been giving him a hard time all season, saying he was up and down. He definitely showed up against Buffalo, man. He made some big throws. That touchdown throw to Mims to give us the lead was a dot.
Yeah.
before that Caleb throw last night, and we'll talk about that. But that was a dot by Bo Nix, man. That was probably his best throw of his career, for real, for real. Outside that interception, he played big, used his legs, but him going down, it's definitely gonna hurt us. We got Jarrett Stidham coming in as the starting quarterback. He does like to push the ball down the field, so I'm interested to see how the play calling is going to be.
Yeah.
Not as elusive as Bo Nix, as we saw. Bo Nix was one of our top rushers this season, behind J.K. Dobbins, who went down with an injury. But they did say J.K. Dobbins was spotted on the practice field last week, so he might be back. He might be back. But shout out to the defense, man. Forced 5 turnovers, as we talked about earlier. Josh Allen threw 2 picks, 2 picks, 2 fumbles, and James Cook fumbled as well. So our defense has been keeping us in the games all season. They showed up and showed out when they needed to, and I think that defense is going to continue to carry us. As long as Jarrett Stidham can take care of the ball, I think we got a shot against the Patriots. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I had y'all beating the Bills, but it was more so out of spite than anything, right? Now, I did say y'all defense would definitely keep y'all in the game, and they definitely did, right? I didn't expect Josh to play as bad as he did. That helped me for sure. It helped y'all even more. But I think that now with this loss of Bo Nix, bro, I'm like, to be completely honest with you, it's a free trip for the Patriots to the Super Bowl. I hate to say it, but like losing your starting quarterback in the championship game, that has to be like the worst time to lose somebody. And because now everybody has to learn new cadence, new this, new that. So like, with Jarrett Stidham in the championship week, that's tough. It's super tough.
Hey, he's been there a couple of years though, so
yeah, but
hopefully he should know the playbook.
It's not somebody. About that, though.
Hopefully somebody got some rhythm with him.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem.
So he got a week to figure something out.
Yeah, and that's what we're gonna get ready to get into later. I mean, your defense is gonna be good as it want to be. If your offense can't get nothing done, the Texans showed us yesterday, it ain't gonna matter. Like,
but I do think if our defense can get some turnovers, get us some favorable field position, as long as he don't turn the ball over, I think we got a shot. I think the Texans more so, and we'll talk about this later, I feel like the Texans more so lost that game because CJ was turning the ball over.
Yeah.
He threw 4 picks in the first half.
Yeah.
So if Stidham can take care of the ball, bro, and get us in at least field goal range, we could take 3. Our defense, I got faith in our defense, bro. We can get after the quarterback, and I like who we got on the back end.
I hear it. Yeah, I think it's a big blow.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't have much faith in the Broncos now, just because it's a lot of newness in a week that I'm going to have to go up against the Patriots. And I think a lot of the turnovers yesterday with the Patriots and Texans game, some of that had to do with the elements. I don't know how the elements are going to be in Denver, but a lot of those fumbles, people were saying that they couldn't feel the ball and whatnot. And I just feel like that organization is continuing with their rhythm, going from week to week, where y'all are just making this drastic change at the key position. I just don't expect that to translate in 7 days, honestly. So I think y'all have a chance, especially if y'all can keep it a messy, low scoring game. But I think it could definitely open up if, the Patriots don't turn the ball over, because I think that they can move it up and down the field and control time of position.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, to Hundo's point, I mean, Josh Allen, Drake May is also, turnover prone, as we've seen yesterday with a good defense. And so, like Hundo said, I mean, if they can keep it close, going into like the third, fourth, make the smart plays, run the plays that need to work. I mean, I definitely think you got a chance. But as we begin the week, I'm leaning Patriots more so than Denver. Like I said, obviously, I think that elevation helps y'all. Just anybody coming into y'all's house in a playoff game, and especially the championship game in that elevation in Denver, definitely favors y'all. But not having Bo Nix, man, it's huge. It's huge in this kind of atmosphere. So I'm leaning Patriots, but we'll see as the week progresses. What continues to be spiraling around.
I hear y'all. We're gonna see. I just don't think Bo Nix is this all pro type quarterback of where
Most
like
definitely not.
it's
I'm not
gonna
saying
be
that at
like
all.
a drastic drop off in talent. I don't think it's gonna be no drastic drop off in talent at the quarterback position. So we're gonna see.
But I think also too, you lose a little bit of mobility with Jared
Yeah.
Stidham, because I don't know if he
Mhm.
runs as much. So that's one less thing you don't have to
Yeah,
account for if you're Mike Vrabel.
that's true.
So,
That's true.
the only way I can see Denver winning, honestly, is like when drastic things happen and you're this close, like Sean Payton rallying them boys, and then they just find a way. And I trust Sean Payton as an offensive play caller to scheme people open, but Jarrett Stidham's gonna have to make the throws. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me the Patriots.
But yeah, speaking on that though, like I said, later on that night, man, we had the NFC divisional game, bro, and it was a beatdown. Oh boy, it got real bad in Seattle. As we talked about this, Saturday, Hundo, that the fact that I figured that them injuries were gonna catch up to the San Fran 49ers. And not only did they catch up, but they continued to get injured throughout the game. So it just only got worse. And Seattle just pulled the belt out from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. They didn't let up at all. Like they made it really clear, like we do not like the 49ers. And we're gonna show y'all all day, up and down the field, beat them bad on the defensive side of the ball. They killed them on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, they were really just having their way. And San Fran couldn't do nothing at all to stop it. At all. So yeah, man, it got bad. I don't got too much to say about that. It was just a beat down from start
Bruh,
to finish.
like you said from start, bro, the very first play, kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yeah,
Bro, what? That's how we starting the game?
set the
Okay,
tone.
bet. Brock Purdy came out struggling to start off. Them boys jumped on him early, didn't look back. Sam Darnold didn't even have the greatest game, right? I
Yeah,
think he had 100 something yards. Like, wasn't even nothing crazy. Kenneth Walker had 3 touchdowns, and the defense played lights out. Like, that was a great performance at home for them. Yeah, just dominant, bro.
yeah, it was crazy, bro. I ain't got nothing to say about that. It was just a beat down.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, it, this is if I'm Minnesota, oh, I'm pissed because I think Minnesota had a good defense this year, and you're seeing what Sam Darnold is doing in Seattle, and it's just like, dang, we were stuck with JJ McCarthy, and Sam Darnold didn't even have a great game. All he had to do is be good, be average, and they really we'll talk about it later, but that's kind of a testament to like, you know, sometimes being a game manager is not always bad. Like especially if they can just surround you with a good defense. Like all CJ Stroud had to do was be a game manager, but he was worse than that. So I think there you look at the Bills roster versus the Seahawks roster, like
Mhm.
them making that trade for Shaheed in the middle of the season. Like where was Buffalo? Because I think they only traded for a 5th-round pick for Shaheed, and look at the impact that he made, in special teams, and how they built that defense. You have your DeMarcus Lawrence, you have your Leonard Williams, but you also have a lot of young pieces that you drafted, and I just think when I looked at the Buffalo roster yesterday and when I look at Seattle's roster, it's just like a night and day difference. And the boys got Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, and they're rebuilding the offensive line. I just don't see many holes on that team. So Sam Darnold plays like this, they're going to be a scary team to watch these next couple weeks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely agree with that, bro. Like I said, yeah. I mean, I was just talking about this the other day, but Sam Darnold's like the perfect example of a system quarterback. I mean, you look at him and it's like he started his career in New York, and we were like, "Oh, he's a bust. He's terrible. He sucks." And he gets the opportunity to get into a system that works for him. Defense is good. Got offensive weapons in Minnesota. Now takes that same ideology and brings it to Seattle. Excuse me. And it allows him to continue to thrive. And we've seen it, time and time again. And he just needs somebody to fit the system. You don't have to be, Lamar. You don't have to be Josh. Like you get a system that works for you, and it shows. You know what I'm saying? But we also got to talk about the dominance. So it's some great defenses this year in the NFC and the AFC that have just been putting on a show, right? And like you said, if you just got a system quarterback and just do what he needs to do, it clearly works. So, yeah, man.
So do you think the league is shifting more towards, just building elite defenses and having a Sam Darnold type quarterback? Or do you think it's still going to be that kind of elite guy at quarterback and spending all the money?
We got to see what wins first. I think this year will show you if Seattle goes on to win a Super Bowl, that you can win with and history has showed us defense wins championships. People been saying that for a long time since the league started. So I don't think that has changed. I think you've seen, yes, Patrick kind of change that narrative in his own just because it's Patrick, and he's done it without an elite defense. But we've seen this year that elite defenses have been leading the way and pushing teams like the Texans all the way to the playoffs, right? And so even when your quarterback play hasn't been up to par or where it needs to be, your defense can create offense. So yeah, like I said, that goes back to what Hunter was just saying about Denver. So, and as we get ready to get into this next matchup with an elite defense in Houston, we saw it didn't necessarily work out for them in the same regard, because when your system quarterback and Mr. CJ Stroud turns the ball over 4 times in the first half, it don't matter how good your defense is. If your offense can't score, get to the end zone, it ain't gonna really matter. And it sucks, bro, because I had so much faith in CJ coming into starting his career. After that rookie year, I was telling Collin them, I was like, yo, the Texans ain't to be played with. They really locked in, and they also drafted Will Anderson, literally, like I said, the next pick after they drafted CJ. So they came in that first year offensive and defensively, and we're like, we're changing the whole culture around here in Houston. And it definitely has changed for sure. But now with DeMeco Ryans as the HC, it's definitely more defensive heavy and dominant, right? And CJ has just been off. Now, I will say that injuries have played a part into that. He lost Nico, he lost Tank Dell, he lost Joe Mixon. So yes, he lost Dalton Schultz. But even with those pieces this year, he wasn't, because they weren't hurt the whole year, but he just hasn't necessarily been himself in the past. I say almost 2 seasons, if I had to put a number on it. So yeah, man, it showed, unfortunately, that they're missing something that they need to get over that hump as well in Houston.
And we know that they traded away Tunzel, left tackle. They lost him.
Yeah.
That hurt the offensive line.
Yeah.
But I go back to that Chargers game where they jumped out to an early lead, and then he started turning the ball over. It's like, bro, CJ, like, you got to take care of the ball, especially when you have an elite defense. You got the top defense playing behind you. Now, even though he threw the 4 picks, they were still in the game. They still had opportunities to where they could strike. Yeah. They were within striking distance still, because that defense was making some plays and getting stops when they needed to, right? So, yeah, you got to find a way to take care of the ball. But back to Colin's original question, like, I think if you have an elite quarterback, you definitely lean towards that elite quarterback. But if you don't have that elite quarterback, the blueprint is there. Build your defense. As long as your quarterback doesn't turn over the ball or make crazy mistakes and missing throws, you got a chance to win because you have that elite defense. So I think it's a team by team type situation.
For sure.
If you have that guy, definitely build around that guy. You're not going to let that guy walk. But if not, get you a solid veteran or something and, build out your defense.
Yeah. Let me just cut to the chase. CJ is not an elite quarterback. We don't have an elite quarterback in the AFC South. And I think it was clear last night, yesterday. Yes, we can blame the O-line. I don't think that, they were trying to play Tunsil, and they didn't do a good job replacing Tunsil, because even with Trent Brown hurt, that offensive line was kind of makeshift. But it wasn't all on the offensive line. There were just some throws that were, off schedule, behind. Even when Christian Kirk called that touchdown pass, he had to adjust because it was behind him. It wasn't even a good throw, and they tried to roll him out, and he was still getting interceptions. And I just don't have faith in CJ Stroud, moving forward to get them over the hump. I think he can be a durable quarterback, but I think what the Texans really needed was a Sam Darnold. They just needed a guy to just maintain, make all the right reads, and make all the throws. And CJ failed to do that, and a lot of it is on CJ. So I just think moving forward, I put in the chat, I think they probably should have tried out Davis Mills the second half, because people forget when the Texans went on that 0-2 losing streak, at the beginning of the season, and CJ got hurt, Davis Mills was a durable quarterback that kept them in contention and won real games for them to get back in the playoff spot. So I'm curious to see what this offseason looks like because, I've seen a lot of people like on social media talk about, not paying CJ that fifth, the extension and just giving him that 5th-year option. But, you're going to have to make some tough decisions because you're going to be paying Will Anderson whatever he wants. He's probably going to get a max contract. And you still have, like Danielle Hunter. And I'm curious to know what they do with, Nico. But you still need more pieces. And I think a lot of that needs to be invested on the O-line. And so if you pay CJ that money, that's less money that you're going to be able to spend on the roster. So I don't know. I feel like every team in our division is faced with the same problems moving forward.
Do you think with CJ it's a lack of talent though? Like, what do you think the issue is?
I think personally, bro, I don't think CJ is as bad as he's playing. Now he played horrendous yesterday, but his offensive line they have to help him do something. I mean he said hut and was running for his life every time. Even on a rollout, it was like he was running backwards trying to like roll out to like get something. It's like dang, like it sucks. But he also has to make better decisions in that time. Like he was running and still trying to throw it. I'm like CJ, just
like trying to throw it back
take the sack or like something has to give. So I think it's a combination of. I think CJ can be. I'm not saying elite, but he can definitely easily be top half of the league in quarterbacks with a consistent O-line, I'd say, and his receivers back. I think he's shown that. So I can easily say that, but he also showing me that he can be easily bottom half of the league with anything going awry. So he's not one of those guys that's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to put the team on my back and like, take over kind of players. But in that division, I mean, he still has a shot because, I mean, the AFC South, I mean, 2 teams are missing quarterbacks right now. Well, 1 team, I'd say. They're in the Colts.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, if you're ranking the quarterbacks in that division, is he first or second or lower than that?
He's second currently behind Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, I mean, until the Colts play Daniel Jones' offseason, and we'll see what he comes back and does, next year. Because I mean, even when he was healthy, he was the top quarterback in that division this year, in Daniel Jones. And so, I mean, if they decide to pay him and bring him back for the next couple of seasons, it's gonna be a dogfight, I'd say, to like who gets that divisional title because Trevor played up to his number 1, overall pick potential this year. Daniel Jones, like I said before he got hurt, was playing at a crazy level. And then, like I said, if they go get some more linemen to help CJ, he can obviously still win the division this year or no, second. Were they second in the division? I don't remember what happened because they both made playoffs. But it'll be a fight between those 3 teams. And then you just like, waiting on Cam Ward and the boys to catch up. But that's another thing. Should they choose the right hire there, Cam Ward and the boys start get cooking. I mean, the division's up. So, you got to make the right decisions in Houston and help DeMeco Ryan, who already has this elite defense, and keep them elite. You know what I'm saying? To Colin's point. They got a lot of young talent that are dogs. Stingley's already under contract. You're going to pay Will Anderson. You got Lassiter. You got Petrie. I mean, they got a crazy defense. We see it. Like,
Aziz Al-Shahir.
The problem, though, John, is like CJ is going to be asking for 63, 62, 63.
He can't.
I'm just saying what they say.
Like we talked about, it got to be some type of tiers to this, bro.
Yeah.
Especially after what we just saw.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
No. But even after what we just saw, he's going to be asking for just as much as Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy.
I'm going to tell you 4 interceptions. Remember that?
Yeah, but
if you want to get it somewhere else, peace.
Yeah. And that's real.
I think they should, pick up the 5th-year option and wait a year. I mean, we see with paying people too early, that it hurts you because now you're crippled as an organization in terms of moving forward. But I don't know if the Texans are going to do that because the alternative is, riding out with Davis Mills, and I don't know if that can get you over the hump either. So the minute you pay him,
you can't cape for Davis Mills and then just say, "Oh, I don't know if he's gonna get you over the hump." Brother, you literally just said all he needed was a game manager.
Yeah,
if that's all that they need, that's enough to get over the hump.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if the Texans are going to do that though, because I'm sure there are people in the plate and internally that want CJ Stroud. Because if that's the case, they would have benched him yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sure, but like you said, I'm not giving you that money right now. You have to play on that 5th-year option. Like, if you don't, bro, we riding with Davis Mills.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see, but I've seen crazier stuff, especially with bad organizations. And I
don't know if they're a bad organization though, bro. I don't know if the Texans are one of those bad organizations.
But in our lifetime, we've seen them been a bad organization. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, don't just switch overnight. I think some of that stain.
I think D'Amico has changed that though, bro. He's definitely changed the culture there, bro. And the identity of the team, bro. Like, I think they understand where they are as an organization. They aren't reverting. They aren't going backwards.
Yeah, but I think with the organizational structure, I'm not saying anything about D'Amico, but you can be a bad organization and still have an elite coach. Like, they've made some dumb decisions in our lifetime. So what I'm saying is, if they signed CJ, then and it doesn't pan out, and then that defense is shoddy, because you're gonna have to let go of guys if you're paying him $62 million. That helps us. I'm happy. Because I've seen in my lifetime where the Texans have made dumb decisions and they've been mediocre and bad. So you still have the same owner and you still have the same people internally. The only people you've changed is Caserio as GM and D'Amico. But sometimes, like, we've seen head coaches come at fail at the head of bad management.
Yeah, I just don't think that's going to be the case for them, to where they're falling off, not in the playoffs. I think they're going to be just fine. Either way they decide to go, whether they do pay CJ or whether they decide to go with Davis Mills. I feel like they'll be fine as an organization. I just don't think that, like you said, I don't think they should pay him that $60 million, but if you can get him to take 45, 50, I mean, that's less than 60. You could do something. You can make something shake with that. But like you said, I'll definitely let him play on that 5th-year option before I consider paying him to see what he does next year.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess moving forward with the Texans in the offseason, do you think that there's like we talked about the O-line, but do you think there's any other moves that they need to make immediately, or just kind of build up to the draft?
I think the talent is there, like literally at pretty much every level, bro. Like, Mixon got hurt before the season, so they were down to starting running back. They couldn't run the ball necessarily good. They looked one-dimensional yesterday, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, at one point, they had like 12 rushing yards, 13 rushing yards. Like, they couldn't run the ball. So maybe running back, but that might also be to the fact of not having a very good offensive line. So I think it starts there in the trenches. Address the offensive line for sure first. The defense is already set in stone. You don't really need any help anywhere on the defense.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to be losing people. I don't know their contract situation over there. But the defense is set in stone. You got receivers. You just drafted 2 young receivers recently. You got Nico Collins. You got Dalton Schultz at tight end. So it's really offensive line and running back, I guess, would be really the only 2 spots that you would need to address immediately, I would think.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what they would do with their coaching situation, because like you said, the Texans were one-dimensional. And so do you get rid of the OC? Like, do you make changes to your coordinators? Because even like with Mike McDaniel, if he doesn't get a head coaching job or gets the one that he wants, could you go and get him? Could you get somebody that is proven as an OC and come and help CJ with kind of the, mechanic issues and, the timing issues? Somebody to kind of get him into shape, because I believe eventually, if not this year, they are going to sign CJ if it's next year. And if you're going to do that, you need to pair him with the right guy to, get the most out of your purchase.
That's real. Because like you said, that's an investment at that point. Like, and you don't want your quarterback to be making dumb decisions or trying to figure things out on the fly. Like, go get a new coordinator if that's what you need to do. And figure out, like you said, the best way to utilize them. Because a lot of it was really like decision making, bro. Like throwing off his back foot. Like when he threw the sack and the defensive lineman was hitting him, like, bro, just hold on to the ball. Like, there's no need for you to try to even make that throw in that situation, bro. Like, some of those mistakes were just like decision making, really. Like, you got to be smarter with the ball. And like, he looked nervous yesterday, bro. Like when the game started, he just looked nervous. He looked like he wasn't all the way there. and his play showed.
Yeah. You know, somebody, when he came out of college, they were saying his comp was Jared Goff. And I was like, I don't know if I see that because, you know, he was elite his first year. And I was like, that's kind of a bogus comp. But now I see it. I mean, I don't know how he fares in harsh weather. And I think he needs all the elements like Jared Goff with O-line. The reason why Jared Goff was kind of iffy this year is because, you know, you lost Ragnow and that offensive line wasn't the same. And if you can't protect the pocket, can CJ audible? Can he, you know, when play A doesn't go right, can you make play B? And some of that is with, you know, the roster on the outside, but I think a lot of it comes down to your guard, center guard. Does he trust, you know, staying in the pocket? Because then he gets all timing in his head, and I think it translates to being all timing in his throws as well.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. Hopefully they can figure it out because they got a good group, bro. They got a good group, so we're gonna see if they can figure it out and get out there, at least make it to the AFC Championship game one year. Because I think they're 0 something in the divisional round. They said with D'Amico Ryans, they're like 0-3, something like that in the divisional round. So
yeah, that's a fact. So, like, I guess for the Patriots, like, do you think, based on what you saw yesterday, we saw some issues with Drake May and being turnover prone. Do you believe that this Patriots team can win the Super Bowl?
No. That's just me personally. Like, I don't like it. Like I said earlier, bro. I don't think they go get past the Broncos, bro. Like, I feel like if we're able to stop the run and we make them one-dimensional, get them in passing situations. Will Campbell was getting cooked out there, bro, by Will Anderson. Will Anderson was getting to the quarterback, bro. Them boys was getting to the quarterback. With Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, we got just as good of a pass rush, if not better. We led the league in sacks. So if we can get after the quarterback, bro, I think it's going to be a long day for Drake May. I'm not afraid of who they have on the outside, bro. I'm not afraid of Stephon Diggs. We got Pat Surtain for that. They got who else they got? Hunter Henry, Keyshawn Boutte.
Yeah.
We got Riley Moss. We got Jaquan McMillan. I like how we match up on the outside, bro. If they happen to get by us, cool. I don't see them beating the Rams or the Seahawks the way either of them teams have been playing.
Yeah. So, I think, you know, not to nerd out real quick, but like when Will Campbell came out, you know, people were talking about his, you know, arm size and arm length, and they, you know, kind of brushed it off because he was a top 5 pick, but you could see why it matters yesterday. Because, you know, your arm length, it depends on, you know, Will Anderson was able to strike first, and the person who strikes first gets to control the body. And he was just getting around the edge. And I think naturally, if you look at the tape, Will Campbell is more so of a guard. I think he can be an elite guard, but they're going to need a tackle. And I think it was kind of makeshift because they were in a rebuilding year. But I think moving forward, you move him more inside and go invest in a tackle. Because I think in the AFC, you're going to have elite pass rushers everywhere, right? And, you know, Will Anderson is not going away. But like CJ, the problem is, you know, once you start investing on the outside a lot, if you don't invest on the inside, we saw that Drake was making some of the same bad decisions as CJ. Might not have been as frequent, but a lot of those problems come because, you know, guards and a guard. And if you don't have elite tackles, quarterbacks get worried, and then the timing in their head just goes off, and then now you're shot. So you're right. But I think the only thing is, like I said before, with the Broncos, I think it has to be an all-time game, like especially defensively. Vance Joseph has to call the game of his life. And I think if y'all can rally, y'all have to, like those Belichick teams when he had like Mac Jones and they were just randomly winning versus Buffalo, it's because they made the game messy. You know, I think like y'all got the fumble recovery with James Cook. I think it was Hufanga maybe who made that hit, but it's like y'all just made elite plays that, you know, you put Jarrett Stidham on the plus side of the field, right? So he doesn't have to do much. Y'all can have that kind of game. I can see it being like a late field goal, you know, something that is like what, but like maybe like a 17-16 game. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, we gonna see, man. Like I said, bro. Like I told you all season, bro. I don't trust none of them quarterbacks at the top of the AFC, bro. I don't trust Drake May. Now, if he proved me wrong, he dot us up. Like we said, he didn't even have the best game yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Like he didn't necessarily do nothing crazy yesterday. So, like I said, if we're able to stop the run, I like our chances, bro. I don't think Drake May is gonna beat us. Can he beat us? Yes, but like I trust what we got on the outside, bro.
Yeah. So a question about the Broncos game. So this has been getting like a lot of coverage on social media. What did you think about the play with Brandon Cooks, and what was your response to how the referees treated the play? Because a lot of people were talking about Sean McDermott saying that there was no time put into, doing instant replay, that they kind of just moved forward. And a lot of people were angry because the next day with Devontae Adams, it was the same play, and it felt like that was giving more attention.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Sean McDermott from that perspective, that he definitely should have did a formal replay and explanation of what they saw from the replay. I wouldn't have been mad at it. I mean, it was a bang bang play, bro. It was a bang bang play. Like it could have went either way. My thing is, had Jaquan McMillan not been there and he went to the ground and he dropped the ball, it would have been an incomplete pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they fighting for the ball, the rule is you gotta maintain it through the ground, right? Is that the rule?
Yeah.
Like you gotta maintain the catch through the ground.
Correct. Yeah.
He didn't do that.
Yeah, I think watching it in real time, I agree with you, because I think if nobody was there, then the ball would have been bobbled, and then it might have hit the ground. And you could even see once he put the knee down, the ball was more so along his torso than next to his chest. So I could see it already being bobbled. And so it's like, if I don't was it Williams, whoever the corner was right there, if Brandon Cooks would have been by himself and he would have dropped the ball, and then it would have bopped up, and then the cornerback got the ball, it would have been an interception and nobody would have had a problem. But I think the same thing happened, just in a smaller sample size, or a granular view, because they were right on top of each other. So in real time, yes, I do agree that it was a bobbled interception because it never hit the ground. But then it's like, with all these camera angles, it's like, dang, like, was his knee down for a second? So I don't know. If I'm the ref there, go ahead.
And then my thing with the Buffalo fans is like, oh, we got robbed. Bro, what about all the other turnovers that y'all had, the missed opportunities that y'all had? Like, it didn't just come down to that one play, bro. Like, stop all that crying, bro.
Yeah, and I think, personally, I'm like, okay, at that point, they had all the momentum. I just don't know if I'm throwing a jump ball to Brandon Cooks right there. Like,
you
could have made other moves that would have gotten y'all in field goal range, because you didn't need all of those yards. Like, it wasn't like y'all had to score or nothing. Right. Josh Allen made a play, and if Brandon Cooks would have come down with it, he would have been a hero. But then it's like, oh yeah, this is Brandon Cooks, and it's no shade. I just don't think he's ever been that kind of player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they gonna have some decisions to make in the offseason, but that's what the offseason is for. The Broncos are gonna be preparing for the AFC Championship game. Clap it up.
Yeah. So
let's jump on over to the NFC, man, because they had a game that night, last night as well. You mentioned it just now. About Devontae Adams, that catch interception situation. But the Rams got it done in overtime. That was a thriller. Caleb Williams once again attempted to put the cape on, nearly did it, but they fell a little bit short. I know a lot of people was complaining about if Ben Johnson should have went for 2 or not, or just kick the field goal and go to overtime. My whole thing is, bruh, like, you're not gonna be able to satisfy everybody, bro. Like, had he gone for 2 and not gotten it, they would have been on his head anyways. Mm-hmm. So give your team a chance, kick the field goal, go to overtime, and see what happens. So, what were your thoughts on that game?
Crazy game. I thought the Rams honestly had it in their hands and they kind of let it go. Caleb, the thing about Caleb is it's kind of hard to know if he's like a leader or not because he makes elite plays, but then there's also plays that's like, come on, Caleb, why did you have to make that there? And like one of his interceptions was me saying, all right, Caleb. But then the second one, obviously, we saw that DJ Moore stopped running, and we can talk about that later. But I thought it was a crazy game. Like at the end, I'm like, this clearly is going to go to the Bears. Like for that was the craziest throw or play I've ever seen with him backing up. And I was like, okay, well, that's insane. But there was a couple of fourth downs that they converted. I thought the Rams defense came to play. I didn't know how it was going to look with it being, cold. Now I know it's cold there, but I thought it was going to come down because, when I was watching the game, like I couldn't even see outside of my house. So I was like, I know in Chicago it's going to be bad. But it actually was better than I expected. So, shout out to the Rams. I think that's a championship level win because for a team in LA to come to Chicago and honestly dominate the line of scrimmage, and Puka obviously came to play, but them boys pulled it out, and that's what championship level teams do.
Yeah, that was a gritty win because Stafford started off good, and then they kind of like slowing down. It was kind of just like back and forth, kind of quiet. But that's the type of wins that you need in a playoff run, right? You got to get tested. Like we said, like that was a great throw by Caleb Williams, bro. Off his back foot, running backwards, he was almost at midfield and just threw a dot to Cole Kmet. I said, "Oh my gosh." That was crazy, but shout out to the Rams, man. Shout out to the Rams. John, what did you think about the game?
Yeah, bro. I thought it was crazy as well. When I changed my pick to the Bears when I saw the weather conditions, and I remember Collin talked about Matthew Stafford's record in cold weather, and I definitely think it played a factor in throughout the game. And when I saw at the end when Caleb had that crazy play on that fourth down, I was like, oh yeah, the Bears should win this game. But man, the Rams came out and they handled business at the end, bro, and they got it done in the cold weather, despite all the elements, despite all the noise, in Chicago. I know that fan base is, has been waiting for that kind of, atmosphere and moment for a long time. So I know the stadium was insane, So to be able to handle all of that, I think you definitely needed that veteran leadership that Matthew Stafford provides and had provided for them. I think if it was anybody younger or anybody who had less experience, probably would have rattled them and got to them, right? So shout out to the Rams for winning that game, and it sets up, man, a crazy, NFC Championship rematch. Well, not rematch, rubber match. Word to Hundo with them and the Seahawks, bro. I think that kind of going into this matchup for me, I'm looking at it because they had a classic game their second time they played in Seattle, and so I'm looking honestly for a very similar game to be played because both of these teams, obviously, this is the opportunity for you to go to Super Bowl, right? So this is put up or shut up time. This is literally like the opportunity for you in the NFC. So I'm looking for another crazy game from Puka and Devonta Adams and Matthew Stafford, right? And looking for those guys on the defense side of Mr. Verse, Parker, all those guys to like really lock in and show what they can do. But also in the same breath, JSN got to play his best game. Rashid got to play his best game. That defense got to play lights out again. So, I'm looking for a dogfight both ways. I think it's very evenly matched because they played each other for the third time. So it's nothing like, oh, I haven't seen this before, or I didn't see this. Like, I done played you twice. I know a lot of your tendencies. I know a lot of, offensive and defensive linemen know each other's tendencies. Like, oh, I can tell by the way he's setting up it's gonna be a run play. This, I've seen this, a couple weeks ago. So I'm looking for a dogfight. And I'm leaning Seattle personally at the crib. They look crazy, look dominant. So in a close one, I'm picking Seattle for me.
Y'all know I don't trust Sam Darnold. So
yeah, I was about to say,
like I said a few weeks ago, the Rams shouldn't have lost that game. The second time they played, bro, that man Sam Darnold threw 2 picks, and they found a way to win that game still. So shout out to them. But I feel like if he has another game where he's turning the ball over, I don't think the Rams gonna squander that opportunity again. So I like the Rams. Like you said, John, I think it'll definitely be close. It should be a good game. But I feel like I trust Matthew Stafford more than I trust Sam Darnold. And I think it's going to come down to quarterback play. So give me the Rams.
Yeah. I'm not mad at the pick.
Yeah, I'm going Rams as well. But I agree with everything Hundo says. I think Saturday, I believe, it really started with special teams because once Shaheed got that 97-yard return, it kind of changed the momentum of the entire game. And I trust Matt Stafford a lot more than I do Brock Purdy. And the Rams are healthier, so I think it'll be closer than what we saw. I think some of the dominance we saw Saturday was a little skewed. But I think them pulling out the win in Chicago, I think is going to bolster the momentum for LA. Like that was a great cultural organizational win, and they've played in all the elements. And I think them going to Seattle is not going to be anything different because they've already played there before, and they won that game before Seattle came back. So I think if they're able to control the line of scrimmage again, I just trust Matt Stafford with time in the pocket.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not mad at. I don't have no dog in this fight either way. I'm not mad at Matthew Stafford winning this game. I think he definitely has the veteran poise. He's been there before. He knows what it's going to take. I don't know that I think that 12th man will play a huge factor into the game. This is a championship game. I think that's going to be a huge factor. That defense is lights out. So I think like I said, it'll give them enough. Sam can't make no mistakes. If Sam make a mistake, I think it's over. But he plays turnover-free football, plays the way he played in that second matchup with them. I think he barely, just barely. So
yeah, them boys are elite at pretty much every level, bro. Outside of like quarterback, that's probably their weakest area, the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But outside of that, bro, they've been running the ball better. JSN, Cooper Kupp, Rashid Shaheed been balling on the outside. Like y'all said, that defense been flying around and making plays all season. So it's definitely gonna be tough, but we gonna see what happens, man.
Yeah. They just said that Zach Charbonnet suffered a season-ending knee injury.
I saw that. So Kenneth Walker had to play his best game.
Put that cape back on, brother. He just had 3 touchdowns. I think over 100 yards last game. So, probably gonna need a repeat performance if Sam Darnold can't, make the throws and make the plays that they need him to make.
Yeah, that's a fact. Brothers, I got to slide personally. If y'all got anything else to say, y'all go ahead for sure. Winning Shot family, I appreciate y'all continuing to be here, man. We appreciate all the love and support. I've seen the views, seen the comments, man. We appreciate all that y'all continue to give us. I'm gonna slide out, y'all boys. I'm gonna catch y'all next appointed episode.
All right, John.
All right.
So I guess we done here. Let's talk about these. Let's talk about these Super Bowl matchups next, man. So looking at 4 teams left, right? What do you think would be the most entertaining Super Bowl matchup from your point of view? What do you think would be the least favorable Super Bowl matchup that people want to watch?
I think the most favorable is going to be Stafford versus Drake May. The old school versus the new school. Obviously, I think the storylines are going to be incredible because Matthew Stafford with another Super Bowl under his belt, that's first ballot Hall of Fame worthy. Drake May is looking for his first, and obviously the Patriots, they see a lot of, remnants of the 2000 to 2020 dynasty of the Patriots restarting if Drake May gets his first. Obviously, for football fans that have been watching Mike Vrabel's career, he's come up short multiple times in Tennessee, and for him to get one, that would be, another storyline. I think least favorable is obviously going to be the reverse. If the Broncos end up winning, like I would want to see them fully healthy because I think y'all could win a Super Bowl fully healthy. But I think the Sam Darnold versus Jarrett Stidham is not getting a lot of ratings, right? And, with it being regional, I think that's a very West Coast, type of game with Denver and Seattle versus the coast with New England. You have the East Coast and then you have the West Coast with LA. So, yeah, I think that's the matchup TV wants to see at least.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think also adding to your point though, like you got 2 of the best quarterbacks going versus each other from this season too. If you get Stafford versus Drake May, MVP battle, 2 MVP favorites going at it. So that would definitely be interesting. I think from the Broncos standpoint, that Broncos and Seahawks matchup would be crazy just because it happened, years ago, and we saw how that went. But like you said, the 2 quarterbacks, not that very entertaining. But also in the same breath, like Yo, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, his career trajectory would be crazy, bro. From
Crazy.
being written off to being a Super Bowl champion, bro. Like that would be crazy. And then if Jared Stidham, gets to the Super Bowl and doggone potentially wins it, like that could possibly change his career. If he could win
Yeah.
two of the biggest games as a backup, he might low-key get an opportunity to try to go somewhere else. You never know.
And the question is, this week in the Super Bowl, what if he looks good? The question now is going to be like, okay, how much money do we pay Bo Nix? Can we get it done with a game manager, just like the Texans?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that would be crazy.
Outside of like the Broncos, of course, who do you want to see win a Super Bowl?
I wouldn't be mad if the Rams win a Super Bowl again, bro. Like seeing Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, like even for Sean McVay, bro, like as like an all-time coach, bro, like he would be up there, bro. I'm not saying he would be like the GOAT or whatever, but like he got a case, low key. So I wouldn't mind seeing the Rams get it done. Puka Nacua, Kyron, I think they got a good group over there. And like I said, Sean McVay getting another one would be crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would like to see Stafford get another one because him being stuck in Detroit, you have that what if question now. Like, what if Detroit's roster would have been better? Could Stafford have gotten another one, right? And I think if Stafford would have had this roster, like the Detroit roster now, I can't even think about what Matthew Stafford's legacy trajectory would have been. But sometimes you got to wait. Delayed gratification.
Nah, facts. That's real. Definitely some interesting storylines going forward, though. All of these teams, really. But we're going to see what happens.
Yeah. Personally, though, I wish we could just go ahead and play it. Like, with the Pro Bowl, people don't take the Pro Bowl as seriously anymore as an actual event. I think it's more about who made it than what actually goes on. It's just like that week is bogus. Let's go ahead and finish it.
And then they just watered it down so much with all the different events and mini games, and now it's like flag football or something. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing at this point?
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, so let's shift over to some NBA talk. I know the last time we talked, we got a little Bron heavy and Lakers talk, so we need to actually get time to talk about actual NBA stuff that's going on right now that matters. Yes. Shot intended. So I guess like the first thing I want to start off with is the Giannis Antetokounmpo. There was like this report that he was like booing the fans because they were booing him in one of the games a couple weeks ago. But I kind of want to transition because they're playing right now versus Atlanta, and we see that Atlanta just traded their star Trae Young to the Wizards. Do you think that the Milwaukee will follow suit with trading their star in this regular season, or do you think this is going to be more of an off-season move? And where do you think he fits best?
I feel like we've been having this conversation the past couple of years with Giannis, and it's just like 1 minute he says he wants to be there, he wants to be a Buck, and as you just said, the man is booing fans because they were booing him. Like, bro, make up your mind. Like, do you want to be there? Do you not want to be there? And stand on it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, don't be wishy-washy, bro. And I'm talking to Giannis specifically, like not even from the team perspective, bro. Like, say if you want to be there and stand on it. You make your bed, you gotta lay in it, as they say, right? So whatever decision you stand on, bro, stand on it, bro. If you want to go, say that you want to be there, bro. But don't play these little games, bro, where you booing the crowd and then the next minute you want to be a Buck for life. Like, bro, make up your mind, bro. But in all honesty, bro, like I think it's gonna be something that happens in the offseason. I don't see them trading them before the deadline at this point. I think he plays out this season and then they make a decision in the offseason on what they want to do. As far as fit wise, I definitely think he'll go to a team that's trying to contend for a championship. I don't know if the Bucks are in that window right now. It's currently constructed. They tried to make that big splash and go get Dame. We saw that didn't work. And now Dame is back in Portland. So
yeah,
from a team team wise, I don't know. Like maybe the Knicks. I know that was a conversation in the offseason this past year. Was that maybe the Knicks could, blow up make a few moves and move some pieces around to go get Giannis. I don't know. I feel like we got to see what happens with the Knicks this year. Come playoffs, if they can make another deep run and possibly, either get to the finals or win the finals. I don't know if you make that move to go get Giannis, right? If you fall short, maybe you do see that, okay, we can't get over the hump. Let's go try to make a big splash and try to get Giannis to pair him with Jalen Brunson, right? So maybe New York, but outside of that, I don't see him really going anywhere else. I think he'll try to go to a big market team.
Yeah, I'm just kind of confused what the Milwaukee Bucks were trying to do, because in the offseason when they signed Miles Turner away from Indiana, like, were you expecting him to be the second scorer? Because it's only averaging 12. I think they were fortunate that Ryan Rollins is having, a great year. Yeah. But even Ryan Rollins is giving you like 16 or 17. And I think if the second option is going to be Kelvin Porter, I don't necessarily know if that's going to be a championship level team. So it's like, were they trying to tank? Were they trying to just be mediocre or relevant? I'm confused.
And even when they made the move for Kyle Kuzma last year, is Kyle Kuzma the piece to get you over the hump? Like, I hope you don't think that, because Kyle Kuzma has not shown to be this, top 3 option on a championship caliber team.
That's a fact.
Like you said, bro, like what's y'all direction? What do y'all hope to do? Like, because similar to like the Lakers, bro, like this roster is not good enough to win a championship. Like, yes, you have Giannis, but like after that, like you said, like y'all are excited to have Ryan Rollins have a breakout year. Good job. But you're outside of the playoffs right now. Like, I don't even think they're in the play-in right now, bro.
Yeah, they're one game ahead of Charlotte.
Like, come on, bro. And you got one of the best players in the league. Yeah. I would be screaming to get out of Milwaukee if I was Giannis.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like, I know you said New York, but I'm trying to think of another place that has the pieces. Because I'm also thinking about it from
Detroit.
Milwaukee. I just think whatever Detroit doesn't need to get rid of many pieces. I feel like Giannis is going to require a lot of pieces and picks, and Giannis changes that dynamic of your team. Like, Cade functions well because he has the ball in his hand, but it's kind of going to run into the same problem as Dame, where if Giannis wants to play that point forward position, how does that change the dynamic of Cade? Does he have to play off the ball? And, will he be as dynamic of a scorer off the ball rather than facilitating offense like he does now? So I could see it, but I don't necessarily think for the long-term trajectory of that helps Detroit enough to make that move and give up your future. Miami?
Potentially, but like, what all are you giving up? I also don't know how that's gonna work with, assuming they keep Bam and Tyler Hero in a trade for Giannis. Assuming they're able to keep those two. How does that look? Like, I don't know how that's gonna look.
Well, I think you have Tyler is used to, even at Kentucky and with Miami, he's used to playing off the ball. Bam doesn't need the ball. He's going to function mainly on getting offensive rebounds and, being that glue guy. The question is, in that trade, do you have to trade away Powell? I'm sure Wiggins is going to be in the trade. I don't know. I just think in terms of play style, it doesn't really change much than what you're already doing, because when I look at the Heat now, a lot of their offenses are really Norman Powell. And so, Giannis brings that, relevancy immediately, and you kind of cater your play style around Giannis, which I don't think any of those players are going to drastically change because they've been used to doing that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to see, man. it's definitely some. It's gonna be some interesting conversations in the off season, but like you said,
Yeah,
like I just wonder where he's gonna fit and what that's gonna look like wherever he decides to, or wherever they decide to move him.
yeah,
I just don't know.
yeah. So talking about the idea of big moves. So one of the biggest moves of the all season was KD to the Rockets. But if you look at the Rockets season thus far, the West is pretty tight, but people were expecting them to be first or second seed in the West, and currently they're actually in the fifth seed. And I guess like what has been the issue? Like, is it a lack of point guards? Are we waiting for Van Fleet to come back? Why haven't they been as dominant, as people projected them to be in offseason?
Yeah, I think that Van Vliet coming back is definitely gonna help whenever he decides to return. Um, just with everybody getting their shots. Um, but I think defensively too, like got to be able to get stops consistently. Um, Ime prides itself on defense. So
Hmm.
if anything, make it ugly. Make it ugly. Get physical with teams. Get stops when you need to. And hopefully, like when Van Vliet comes back, they can be in that upper echelon of the Western Conference.
Yeah. Do you still see them as a contender coming out?
Mm, I don't know. I think as long as you got KD, if healthy, I think so. It's gonna come down to matchups. And I assume Van Vliet will be back by then. But yeah, I think it's gonna come down to defense, man. I think their identity defensively, it has to be strong.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious because like I'm looking at their stats right now, and it is really what I expected. I mean, KD is, obviously the leading scorer at 2026. I guess the biggest thing for me is like you have KD, Sengun, and Min Thompson. But I'm gonna go back to your point that you made in the offseason. What do we do with Jabari Smith? Like, he's giving you 15 and 5, which I think is decent, but it do you use him as a trade piece? Do you keep him on? Because I guess for Houston, they're gonna need more scoring. If Amen is only gonna give you 18, I'm sure that his focus is gonna be on the defense, guarding your team's best player. But
Mhm.
off of the bench, you know, you don't have much. So I guess the X factor is going to be Jabari Smith, right?
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't pay him all that money. Trade that man. Now, what you get in return? I don't know, bro. Like maybe another veteran. I mean, your boy Reed is give you 12 off the
Yeah,
bench. So I
yeah,
mean, that's something. But I mean, some of the guys that they bought in the offseason, like barely playing.
hmm,
So I don't know, man. We gonna see. Hopefully they can figure it out. But I would definitely look at trying to trade some of them younger guys and try to get some more established veterans that can go get a bucket because their should be there, right? Like they shouldn't have any issues defensively. Offensively, I guess you just need more, bro. Like you said, like the
yeah,
numbers don't necessarily look bad. Like players are hooping, but you just need more.
yeah. Who's been the most disappointing team to you this season?
Mm,
Like a team that had high hopes coming into the offseason and has let us down again.
I don't know. I would probably either say Milwaukee or the Clippers. I think
Yeah,
everybody else is pretty much like where I thought they would be at. Not really any real surprises out there from that point of view. I mean, Philly actually has been looking better. They're kind of like middle of the pack
yeah,
right now. Like they've actually been looking better the last few games. I like how MB's been playing. PG's been out there. Um, so as far as disappointments, I would probably have to say Milwaukee and the Clippers.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think teams can be doing well, and I expected them to do better. I would low key put Cleveland on there
Yeah.
because it's like, what are we doing? Like, I just saw this morning that DG is out again with a toe sprain. I'm like, wasn't foot the issue last year? Like, we're doing this again. And looking at the stats once again, it's just the Donovan Mitchell show. Like, Donovan Mitchell's averaging 29 a game, and then Darius is averaging 18. And I guess because he doesn't play defense, we just expected a little bit more from Darius Garland. I was expecting like the 24, 25 range. And then, even with Mobley, he has 17 and 8. And I guess that's just who he is now. Like, he's going to be an elite defender, but he would never be a premier scorer. And even they were rumoring that DeAndre Hunter actually wanted out of Cleveland. So I'm just like, last year it kind of looks the same as it does this year, minus Ty Jerome and a couple of other pieces. But I guess they're in a kind of stalemate because this kind of looks the same way it did with Utah with Donovan Mitchell. It's like at some point you just need a fresh start because it just looks the same.
And this has been my problem with Donovan Mitchell led teams in his whole career. Like, bro, you're a great scorer, but like when it's time to win, we can't trust that leadership. Like, yeah, we know you're gonna get yours. We know you can score, but it's like, what else? And like, I think from what you're saying, like, it's only so much Mobley can do when Donovan Mitchell is the number one option. Like, you're not going to see a significant jump in his numbers and his production because you're playing with somebody like Donovan Mitchell, who's ball dominant, who can score, and is going to get his regardless.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want the Knicks to go get Donovan Mitchell. So we're going to see, man. And like, to your point, like, this is the same roster that they had last year.
Right.
Like, outside of a couple of pieces, this is the same roster that they had last year.
And then you added Lonzo, and he didn't really give you much. He's giving you 5. That's the only that's the only piece they've made this offseason.
Yeah. So we're gonna see, man. That like we said, that core is there. That top 4 was the top 4 that they had last year.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can figure something out, but it probably gonna be blowing it up soon.
I was gonna ask you that. Do you blow it up this offseason, especially if they let us down, or they let they have the same performance as they did last season?
I think so, but like, to your point, is it going to be dark days for Cleveland moving forward if you move on from Donovan Mitchell? What does that look like? What does blowing it up look like? Are you just trading Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland? Are you keeping I assume you keep Mobley. That would be somebody that I look to keep. Is Jared Allen a part of the future plan? I don't know. So we're gonna see. I definitely think they gonna have some conversations in the offseason about what they need to do moving forward. But I think for Cleveland, they definitely gonna have to figure some things out. And they were supposed to be a top team in the Eastern Conference coming into this season, and they just have not performed up to that standard. So hopefully they can figure it out, man. And we gonna see, man. But shout out to the Raptors, man. The Raptors have been playing good this year as well. 25-19, better than where they were last year. Shout out to Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, only playing in 23 games, but was getting it done when he was out there. IQ, Manuel Quickly, getting it done. Shout out to them, man. It definitely got a couple of all-stars on that roster that can get it done.
Yeah, my laptop died, so I had to trap off the iPad. So, yeah, what was that last thing you were saying?
I was just talking about Cleveland, and how they have to blow it up. And I was just talking about how the Raptors have been playing this year.
Yeah. Have they been your surprise team, the Raptors?
I don't know, bro. I don't know about surprise. Um, I'll probably say the Suns. I don't think I expected the Suns to be in seventh right now. Dylan Brooks is having a crazy year.
Yeah.
So shout out to Dylan Brooks. And they've definitely won more games than I thought they would be at right now. I definitely thought they would be like a play-in team, but I didn't think they would be seventh in the play-in with an opportunity to be in, the top six of the Western Conference. I definitely didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I mean, I think, the Suns just needed to get rid of the whole Bradley Bill. And honestly, I think they could have won with KD, but they just didn't have any direction. Like Jalen Green hasn't even come back and they still look good. And also, too, we talked about this in the group chat, but we have to put some respect on Dylan Brooks because everywhere he's been a winner.
Yeah.
And I think he's a culture kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely. Because he is definitely one of those players that like you don't want to play against, but you love him on your team.
Yeah.
Almost like Pat Bev. But like, I think also this year, like, he's showing that he can be a bucket. Like, nobody ever looked at Dylan Brooks as being this 20 points per game scorer. They are running plays for Buddy. Buddy is getting shots. Like, they're low-key running the offense as a second option through this man. And he's showing that he can hoop at a high level.
Yeah.
Like, he's not this annoying dude that's on the court, antics, going crazy. Like, this man's getting buckets.
Yeah, he's a scorer.
This man's getting buckets out there, bro. So shout out to Dylan Brooks for real, man.
Yeah, so I think Dylan Brooks has been my surprise player for sure. But I want to talk about one of the disappointing pieces, Jonathan Kuminga. What are we doing? Like I feel like every year it's the Jonathan Kuminga show. Once out, in the offseason, it's going to be, where does Jonathan Kuminga go? And they pull him back on the roster, and then he does nothing, and then we're in this constant cycle. Do you think it gets done this year? Does he move on? And if he moves on, do you think that he has the capabilities of being a centerpiece around a team and a franchise?
I think he moves on. I think it's time. I think they finally get a deal done with somebody. Who that is, I don't know. And for your second question, no. I don't think no. Like maybe at best like a Kyle Kuzma type role, but like I don't see him being a focal point of an offense. Especially not anybody that's trying to win a championship for sure.
Yeah.
Could he be like a Cam Thomas type role where he's putting up garbage numbers? We got to talk about that too, because what are y'all doing? Brooklyn, MPJ out there hooping, but like the fans talking about, yo, we need to tank, bro. Like you playing too good, bro. Like, bro, what are y'all doing as an organization over there? But like, nah, I don't think Kuminga is going to be this focal point of an offense. Like, I honestly wonder what a trade package looks like for him, because like he's probably looking at his play and his trade value. A lot of it is based off potential, bro. Like we haven't seen you really do anything consistently, bro, at a high level with extended minutes. So it's like, bro, like we're not about to trade X, Y, and Z, all these first round picks and all of our future for you. Like, no, bro. Like, you're not about to get this crazy bag off of us, bro. Off of potential, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think about who needs a rotational scorer, because I don't know if he's really just a 3-and-D wing. I don't know that, because like you said, we're going off of potential. If I trade all these things for you, can I trust you to get 18, 19 a night plus guard on my best player? I was thinking maybe the Pistons, maybe the Mavs, but
do you want to give up your young pieces for him? Like, what would that look like for the Pistons, right? Like, are you giving up Ivy or? I mean, I don't know though, because maybe you can get away with a couple of veterans, like we saw with Trae Young. We saw them give away 2 veterans, and they were able to get this all-star caliber player. Kuminga isn't on that level. So if you can get away with giving up a Tobias Harris,
Yeah.
would you even consider doing that though? Like, would you give up Tobias Harris for Kuminga?
The only problem though is, like you said, we're going off of potential. If
Yeah.
that's the case, I've already got Ivy in the house. Ivy could become what we expect from Kuminga, And I don't think either is a star. Maybe I was thinking maybe the Lakers. You trade Rui, Maxey.
Well, like we talked about, bro. I don't think there's a move that they can do. That move right there is not getting them closer to a championship, bro. I understand Rui has not been hooping at a high level or whatnot, but like that's not the move to make if you're the Lakers. I wouldn't make that move if I were them. No. You can sit over there and ride in Golden State, brother.
Yeah, I don't know. His trade value is going down the more and more these news reports come out, because it's like, if he's that good, then why hasn't he produced with the Warriors yet? And you can't blame everything on Kerr,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna list some players who have been rumored, and you tell me if they get traded this season and where they go.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we'll start with the obvious one, Ja.
You saw what I sent you this morning, right? This man said he has a tattoo of Memphis, a Memphis logo tattoo, or something Memphis related on his back. and he says he wants to be in Memphis. I think he's gonna be covering up that tattoo real soon. I think he's gonna be covering up that tattoo. He's gonna be out of Memphis. Probably happens in the off season. Where he goes, I don't know. Because like we talked about last week, bro, it's like, what do you want? Like, if Milwaukee plans on keeping Giannis, potentially Milwaukee. Technically, you would have a big three if they still believe in Miles Turner after the contract they gave him. You have Miles Turner, you would have Giannis, you would have Ja. Outside of that, who else really needs a point guard of his caliber? Like, I'm trying to think. That's a contender too.
I mean, I was gonna say Miami, but the thing is, if you can't work in Memphis, I just don't see you working under Eric and Pat. Like, it's a strict organization over there.
Yeah, and his mentality and attitude is not gonna change overnight, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know what would be a good fit for him right now, but I definitely think he's gonna get traded for sure.
Yeah. I mean, or do you follow the Trae Young path, and you just send him somewhere like Brooklyn for pieces and just kind of bolster up your young pieces? Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's a possibility because they don't have a point guard for real. And that's definitely an upgrade from whoever they have at point guard. I don't even know who their point guard is, in all honesty.
Igor, the 6'8" guy from BYU.
Okay. Yeah, I would take Ja over that. But once again, it's like, what's the direction of Brooklyn? Like, what's the direction of Brooklyn, though, bro? Like, you got MPJ over there hooping. He's been playing at a high level this year. Definitely probably didn't expect to be, winning over there this year, but like, he's putting up great numbers. So like, if Ja wants to go put up great numbers, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But like, just understand that like, we aren't going to be competing for a championship next year.
Yeah, I agree. All right. AD.
Yeah, it sounds like he's on the way out. what that looks like. I don't know, bro. Because like my thing is like if I were the Mavericks, I wouldn't trade him because I want to see what that looks like, right? What does a fully healthy Maverick squad look like?
Yeah.
You got Kyrie coming back. Cooper Flag is the future. And we talked about it a little bit last week about how Cooper Flag kind of is, what AD is, but younger, right? So clearly you have something there from that point of view. But like, I want to see what that looks like fully healthy. How good can that be fully healthy?
Yeah.
Until I see that, I wouldn't move him. But if they do plan on moving him, I mean, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do at that point.
Yeah. I just don't know where that fit would be. Like people were talking about Chicago, but I don't think AD he might be 31, 32. AD at this stage in his career matches Chicago's timeline. Because you essentially need somebody who can come in and have a premier scorer, and AD is just bolstering that to win a championship. You'll be stuck in purgatory if AD is good because you have nothing to surround him with besides Matas and Josh Giddey.
Yeah, I just don't think that's enough. Like, once again, it goes back to like, what do these players want? Because like, if you want a championship, you're not getting that in Chicago, bro. As much as you want to be this hometown hero, and yes, that's a feel good story, but like, bro, you're not bringing a championship to Chicago, bro. Not how that roster is currently constructed, and not with the depth in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening. Maybe I don't know what it looks like over there, and I know they're having a down year this year, but Indiana, possibly. I mean, they still got Siakam.
That's a solid move.
Possibly add him to the rotation, or move. I don't know if you move Siakam in that trade because they already have Cooper Flag, but
no, AD would just play a Miles Turner role, and you have Siakam still playing the 4, and then you go get a Darren Peterson in the draft if you have a top 3 pick, and there goes your scoring.
And Halliburton comes back healthy. That could possibly be something. The thing is, what pieces do you give up in an AD trade if you're Indiana?
Benedict.
Benedict Mathurin. Yeah.
Benedict and pieces. I mean, Benedict and picks, and maybe I guess they might be asking for Nembhard.
Yeah.
That's all I'll be willing to give up for brittle AD right now. All right. Sabonis, do you think he gets traded?
I think he should. I mean, it's literally nothing there in Sacramento, bro. Like, it's literally nothing there in Sacramento, bro. Like, we talked about this last year, I believe. But it's like, you get all these veterans. You bought in DeMar. You bought in Zach LaVine. It's like, y'all aren't doing anything, bro.
Yeah.
Like, why are y'all collecting? Now you got Russ, and Russ actually has been hooping. But it's like, you stacked all these veterans. What's the direction, bro?
Right.
Like what are y'all trying to do in Sacramento? Because I don't see any hope or potential for them moving forward. So it's like, bro, like, trade them, bro. Get something for them. Like, I just don't understand the need to stack and collect all these veteran players.
Yeah, that's another team where I'm just like, what is the direction? Like, you went old, and usually when teams go old, that means it's championship or bust. But this one is like, I'm going to be middle of the pack or mid. I'm like, and even the pieces you had, it's like you traded away De'Aaron Fox, you traded away Tyrese Halliburton, and now you need a point guard. It's like, what? So these guys weren't good enough?
Yeah, they gotta. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Sacramento, y'all just need a whole regime change or something, bro. Because what y'all doing right now is not working.
Right. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna do a 3-1 with this one. So, do you see any of these three? So, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, or Zion Williamson?
I mean, I feel like all of those are like tradable assets.
Yeah. Do
I
you think they
feel
get
like,
traded though, or does one of them get traded?
I mean, if I were the Pelicans, I would try to keep Trey Jones for sure. I would try to keep him. I could see Herb getting moved. I could see Zion getting moved for sure. But once again, what do those packages look like? Because Zion is on and off the court. I mean, you're hoping he can stay on the court and stay healthy, right? Where he ends up landing, it's risky, but I'm not gonna lie to you. If I'm the Lakers, I'm making that trade. It's risky. It's risky. It is. It is risky. Because, like I said, you're banking on the man being healthy. But if I can give up Rui and I mean, I'll probably throw in like a Marcus Smart or something like that.
Yeah, and connect.
Yeah, that too. To get Zion. It's just risky because, like I said, you're banking on him staying healthy. But when he's on the court, he can give you 25, anywhere between 24 and 27 points per game. When he's on the court, you're just banking on that.
I'm trying to think like what. I don't know, man. Hey, do you pair him back with RJ with the Raptors? Like,
No, bro, they playing too good, bro. You don't disrupt that, bro. Unless you see that you can't get over the hump. But then again, it's like, bro, we just
that's not the
traded with
answer.
y'all. We just traded with y'all. I'm sure they had conversations about Zion last year before they traded for Ingram, or the year before last, however long it's been now. But like, we just got Ingram from y'all. When we wanted Zion, y'all didn't want to have that conversation.
Yeah,
I'm sure they had conversations about that.
the Knicks.
No, bro. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Because
we are good with what we have, bro. If that's the move we're thinking about making, just keep the roster like we have it, bro. I think if the Knicks make any moves, it has to be either Giannis or nothing like that drastic. Like, go, like I said before, go add another center. Go add another center. If we add another center, I think that helps us significantly. A capable center, not just like no role player bum that's gonna play 10 minutes. Go get a legit center.
Yeah. What about Philly? I mean, it seems like, with McCain going to the G League, they have an influx of talent, in the backcourt. So I'm sure that they had a plan to move one of those pieces now. And then with Embiid kind of on the waning end of his career, you get a little bit more perimeter presence, and it could help, kind of be a stalemate before you find another center later on.
Yeah, but that's a risk. Like, I don't think Philadelphia is in a position to be trading for a risk right now.
Yeah.
Especially with Embiid. Like, in his injury history, you don't know what's going to happen with him. You're not going to trade for another risk. Somebody who's on and off the court every now and then. I don't think they decide to make that move. Now, can Philly make a move? Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if Philly made a move. but I don't think that Zion is the answer in that situation to try to make a move.
Cool. All right, let's keep going. You think so you said no to Trey Murphy?
Nah, I think they're gonna try to keep Trey Murphy. At least if I were the Pelicans, I would try to keep Trey Murphy.
All right.
I think I called him Trey Jones earlier. My bad. Trey Murphy. My bad.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on it. MPJ.
Yeah, definitely. I could see him getting moved. Like I said, bro, he's played at a high level, bro. He's scoring the ball, shooting the ball, playing exactly how we thought he would play when he was coming out of high school. That's literally what he's doing, bro. He was a top recruit coming out of high school. He was a top prospect coming out of college. He's playing at a high level. He's doing what he's supposed to do right now.
Yeah. Where do you think he goes? What's the best fit?
I know I've been saying this team a lot today, but I think it depends on their direction, right?
Don't you say it. Are you going to say Lakers?
No.
Okay.
Nah. I was thinking Milwaukee, though. I was saying Kuzma to New York, Brooklyn. Swap them out.
They're not taking that. You're gonna have
who not taking it?
Brooklyn.
I thought a draft pick. Y'all had 5 last year. I'll give you another one.
Now I'm thinking Detroit. That would be a move. I could see them trading Tobias.
But is that enough?
It's not enough, but he can rock out with Cade. And MPJ is an elite scorer. Like, that's what we forget.
Yeah. He can
and that's what they need.
The ball. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would definitely be a good fit.
And I think MPJ kind of is in line with Cade and the rest of the roster's timeline because Tobias is getting old. So they only got a couple more years of that versus you could build a solid core around, the Duran, Cade, and MPJ, and you'd probably need another piece, but that'd be a solid core moving forward.
Yeah, and he's long, switchable. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
What about Cam Thomas?
He should get moved. I think he should get moved. Where?
I just don't know.
I feel like he can help a lot of teams, but like he has to understand also that like you might have to come off the bench.
Yeah, and you might have to change your.
I feel like he's like one of those players that we talked about off air. He can score.
He can.
He can literally come in and get you some buckets. But it's like, bro, like we don't need you to start. We just need you to come off the bench, give us 20 minutes, and get 15 points in that time.
So, low-key, I think they could do like a rinse and repeat. But what about Minnesota? You give AE some help scoring-wise, and then I would trade Rob Dillingham to Brooklyn, and Rob Dillingham will be Cam Thomas. Because I think they're both the same kind of player. I just don't know how many rosters want a Cam Thomas because Cam Thomas's scoring, it also requires him having the ball. And
hey, I'm going to say something wild. Golden State.
That I agree with you on that one. That's solid. But who would you give up? Would you send Kuminga over?
Easily. He don't want to be there.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is that going to be enough? That's
that's the thing. It would probably have to be Kuminga. Maybe Pods. I don't know. I feel like Brooklyn is just one of those teams that wants some draft picks, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like they're at that stage where they just want draft picks. So I would give you Kuminga and I'll give you a draft pick.
Yeah,
And that might be enough.
I can see that working. I can low key see MPJ working with the Warriors.
Yeah, that too.
Because all he has to do is shoot, really. And I mean, obviously play defense.
But you got Draymond, assuming Draymond comes back next year, or I guess the rest of this season, depending on when it happens. You got Jimmy, you got Steph. Go be Clay 2.0.
Yeah, I could see that. So I'm looking at some of these other names, just like Dalton Connect, Benedict Maturin. Do you think there's going to be another? Like, do you see anybody big getting traded? Any big names? Vucevic from Bulls, I see.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it said Alonzo Ball.
I feel like it just depends on like what these teams are looking for, bro. I feel like a lot of these teams, especially like the contending teams, it's like, is it health? Is it you trading for this one piece to get you over the hump? But also in the same breath, it's like maybe you don't need to do something drastic. Maybe it is, one or two smaller moves that get you over the hump. Like Detroit. Like, do you risk going to get an MPJ to try to, come playoff time, we can actually win the Eastern Conference? Or do you just rock out with what you have and hope for the best, in a sense?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I feel like that's going to be something interesting to watch moving forward too. With like some of these top teams, is like, do you risk taking that chance of going to get somebody and hope that it works, or do you just rock out with what you have and fall with what you have, go down with what you have?
Yeah, I just don't know. Some teams, I think the time is ticking though, because like we talked about a couple pods ago, Minnesota, like I think the AE wanting out is inevitable, at this point, especially if they don't get it done this year. And it's like, do you continue with what you have and just, build around him and Julius, or do you just make the trade now, like get something out of him? Because yes, it's shocking, but you could be in a Dallas predicament where you land a top pick, you get a Cooper Flag, you can restart.
Even moving Nas Reed, I could see that happening. I can see Nas Reed getting moved too. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I guess after February, people are kind of tune more into the NBA because there's a lot of stuff going on. But I guess like the catalyst is going to be honest, because everybody's going to be waiting. Because if he goes to a championship contender, then the NBA becomes more interesting.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier with Cleveland too, like that's definitely going to be something that I'm watching too, because they have some tradable pieces that could be moved, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time of like, do you blow it up now before the trade deadline, or do you wait until the offseason to blow it up? So I think that's going to be a question with some of these teams as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a lot to go over, man. I'm excited to see what it looks like, especially with the second apron, because I think a lot more teams are going to be making moves that we didn't expect just to stay under that curtain. Yeah. So we're literally right at the 2-hour mark. A lot of content just came your way. We'll have this out for you on YouTube, and we appreciate our Winning Shot family who has been with us since the beginning. Tonight is the national championship, so we'll probably be doing a recap on that afterwards. And then after this, we have the Super Bowl, and then it's basketball season. So we have a lot more content coming your way. As always, continue to like and subscribe and share this with someone who doesn't know about the Winning Shot. And if you like to sit down and read, we have a lot of articles coming your way on our Substack page, so follow us on there as well. We are on all social medias, so just look up the Winning Shot, and you should be sure to find us. Hundo, you got anything else?
Nah, that's it, man. Appreciate the support, man. We're gonna keep providing the content for y'all and going up in 2026, man. Appreciate that.
For sure. All right. Peace.
Peace.